job here. One is Agile Project Manager, Scrum Master, and one is Senior Enterprise Project Manager. Okay, so let's see what it means. Do I have all the thing here? Okay. Okay. So let's start with this. The technique that I always show you is that when you have an interview, this should be your standard every single interview. Don't say that you are expert, you are veteran in the interview. Even me, when I have interview, I always have, I always build my case. Okay, I will make sure that I build something, I create something for my interview. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use this. We usually do. We are not gonna type anything today. We will just answer theoretically, and you can go ahead and type it the way you want. So this is an example of what I always recommend. When you have an interview, use your sheet like this. You can put your responsibility and you can tell your story. Right? You can talk about your tools and maybe make some comment. So that's what we're gonna do now. So if they said develop, plan, and schedule the development, develop, plan, and schedule the development, introduction, communication, and maintenance of all projects. So you do the planning, you do the development, you do the planning, you do the scheduling, and you also kick off the project as a project manager, Scrum Master. Organize and control the activities of the area, assign personnel to the various projects, and direct their activities. So what does that mean? That means you, as a project manager, you have a staff. If we take this as an example, let's say that we were talking about our planning, this planning that we have here. Okay. They give you a project like this, but they don't give you any name for the staff. And you have to hire this guy. You have to pull them from different projects or hire some people from outside for them to come and work on this project. How do you manage your budget, your costs? Maybe based on, maybe you will do that with the expert, somebody who understand the project. It could be the architect, it could be a product manager, somebody who understand this project very well. And you work with the person to identify maybe some skill that you can outsource. Remember that we ask you, have you ever worked with offshore team or onshore team? Offshore mean outside United States. Onshore mean in the United States. So why do they want to hire people offshore? Because like if you can see this, the budget for this project is about 287,000. Maybe they can not even have, but they can save about 50,000 or 100,000 of this project if they hire offshore person. But the risk on that also is that, do they have the quality? Do they have the skill that you need to be able to perform the work? Okay. And what is your team coordination? So those are the questions that you, as a project manager, you have to be thinking. Before you hire somebody, you want to ask, okay, what is the risk of the person messing up that project? You don't want to give them a very high level, high risk project. You can give them maybe some testing or whatever it is, but not very complicated and very risky role. So when you work with the expert, which is your architect or your product owner or your business what did I say? Product manager, is to understand the aspect of the most important aspect of your project and know where to allocate resources. So when we come back to the interview, that's what they are talking about here. Okay, and that's how you tell your story. Just tell your story this way. Hey, to save costs, this is how I approach things. You know, I was able to save 50% or 25% cost on the project of building a website project in my previous organization by hiring offshore resources. This is the story that you are telling. Now, manage high complexity cross-functional system, high complexity cross-functional system implementation, maintenance, and integration project. Because even whether it's a website or an infrastructure project or a migration project, he goes through all this. It's complex, it is cross-functional, and it requires a lot of ongoing maintenance. So if they ask you, how do you do that? You say, I leverage agile methodology, because remember, agile methodology helps you to break down complex project into simpler processes by delivering smaller increments. That is why agile is very good compared to waterfall. Now, understand and meet the project sponsor expectation. Nobody can put the money and send the money from to the windows. So they want to have a high return of investment or whatever they are spending. So you want to meet that expectation. So if they are giving you a project that you have to spend 287,000, you have to bring value. Sorry. Now, monitor progress to ensure project objectives are delivered on time and within the budget, and business results are realized. You see, if we go to our sheet here, what do we want to pay attention to? We want it to be delivered on time. So the start date and the end date are very, very important. And why do you want to keep your stakeholder informed? Because they want to know when are they starting this? When are they starting this? So you want to tell them, hey, Mr. Stakeholder, we are planning to complete the entire project by September. And this is our sprint. We are on the sprint. We have 4 sprint or 5 sprint. And this is how we are doing it. So you are the one communicating that to your stakeholder so that they are confident that you are doing the right thing. That's why you are tracking. That's why I was telling you that you can track based on the date. You can track based on the start date, based on the end date, based on the cost, based on the priority, based on the owner, even based on the type of project. This is why you have to understand this. You have to understand Excel so that you can do more of that without too much stress. Now, monitor, you see that the word monitor, tracking, things like that come a lot when it comes to project management. Monitor and control quality, risk, issue, and project changes to ensure project objectives are delivered on time and within budget. Again, so facilitate agile Scrum ceremony in alignment with, this is the company that is hired for this position in the project management process. So this you are wearing too hard. Not just you are tracking. That is why I'm telling you, Scrum Master now become very technical. This is a Scrum Master, but a Scrum Master who is doing all this and plus handling ceremony. That means this Scrum Master is working with the team. Maybe you have one team and you are working with that team every day to make that happen. And then they said, ensure Azure DevOps Board is updated and accurate in alignment with the schedule to ensure continuous delivery of business value. The tools that they are using here is what? Azure DevOps. Remember, I told you, you must master Azure DevOps, you must master Jira, you must master Rally, you must master Microsoft Project, at least Jira, Rally, Azure DevOps. And Azure DevOps, Jira, you can get a free account online. Do it. It's very important. I think we have a class on that too. So that Azure DevOps is where you store your story. I have a course on that Azure DevOps. I don't know where it is, but I have it somewhere. Anyway, and I think I sent it to you guys as well. So now develop sponsorship support for project at the executive level within affected organization and establish a governance organization. Here they are trying to tell you that, because every organization have kind of policy that they are following, and you have to be able to follow those governance, those laws that they have in place when it comes to product delivery, when it comes to relationship building, things like that. Monitor and maintain project team morale. I told you about how do you take your team member to lunch. Like I have a lunch with my team member this weekend. I don't even manage budget in my team, but I want to build that relationship. Okay. So if they are local, you can take them to lunch. If they are not local, acknowledge them, maybe acknowledge their birthday, send them some message when it's their birthday, when they are sick. Make sure that you attend. It's a family. You want to build that morale. You want to build that trust in your team. Resolve issue. Resolve issue escalated by the management team. So when either the issue will be escalated to you, and you have to resolve that. For instance, I told you that an issue of somebody need the server is not working, or somebody need a license maybe for his desktop server, and you are the one facilitating that, or somebody needs some permission to access Azure DevOps, and you are the administrator, you have to facilitate that. So those are the impediments, those are the issues that you want to resolve. Okay. And you escalate the one that you cannot resolve, you escalate that to the highest level. Okay. It could be like the server. If you are not a server person and you are not the one following up with your vendor, you escalate that to the people who follow up with the vendor. That is your job. So this is everything that is needed for this job. And you know how much this job pays? It pays more than 150,000 a year. So this is the requirement. Look, bachelor degree in art or in science, business administration, finance, computer. Don't worry about this. Even if you have a bachelor degree in law, it will pass. So just don't worry about it. Now, 3 to 5 year experience managing large-scale initiative in an engineering or technology environment. That's why you have your business case, is to show that experience. And if you know how to tell your story, that experience will show. Okay, so you are buying those 3 to 5 year experience. 7 to 10 years of project management, Scrum Master experience with complex project experience. The course that you have is giving you enough experience. So if you know how to tell your story and you leverage what I'm showing you here and you tell them with confidence, I am telling you those 10 years, they will buy it. Expert knowledge in managing HR, benefit, or finance application project. Here if they ask you, oh, what kind of software do you use for timesheets, for instance, for timesheet management? You said, I use Clarity. That means my team through DevOps, we have a DevOps integrated with Clarity, because you know that they tell you that it's DevOps. You always have to be in control on this. So you are going to a meeting, even though most of you know Jira, you don't know DevOps much or Rally much. But if you see a tool like this, when you go to that interview, prepare yourself to say that you use that tool in the current role, and tell you that you use other tools in the past role. So you tell that, I have DevOps integrated with my Clarity. This is how I do it. My developer, when they finish, when they try their tasks and everything, is migrated to Clarity, and that's how it goes to different bucket of the project, and that's how they can fit in their timesheet. So they have Clarity bucket, and there's another tools that I want you to make sure. If you have offshore team, Clarity go with another tool called BLAN. BLAN is for contractor, okay? BLAN timesheet. So those are two that you want to get used to. BLAN timesheet. So they allocate their time on Clarity, and they put their time card into BLAN. They put their time. That means, let's say that Monday 8 hours, Tuesday 8 hours, Wednesday 8 hours, Friday 8 hours, you send it out. But you also want to justify how do you use your 8 hours. So Clarity is helping you to distribute those 8 hours into project. Clarity timesheet. Okay. Clarity help you to distribute those 8 hours into different bucket of project. You see Clarity. And whenever I give you a name of the software, go and read about that, because they will ask you, how do you track your budget? How do you track your schedule? How do you track your costs? This is the story that you tell. I use Clarity. We track our project using Clarity, and our team, when they create tasks, the hour flow back to Clarity, and also the hour that are not allocated to the capital project goes to a specific bucket. And that's how they also, and contractor will go and track their time with the VLAN software. They will not even doubt that you are not in the field. So I'm transferring my experience to you so that you go and tell the story. Now, let's go down. They said, you will see that this Scrum Master training is very important. Scrum Master certification is strongly desired. You see that they didn't say PMP, even though it's project management. They want you to be Scrum Master certified. Advanced proficiency in Azure DevOps and Clarity. Oh, I talk about Clarity without knowing that they have it. Clarity. So if you are the one going for this interview, you have to research about this Clarity and tell the story the way I'm telling here. Advanced proficiency is analytical, organizational, project management, interpersonal, and communication, blah, 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 is very important. Analytical, let me talk about this, is what we are doing here. What we were doing here is analytical. Why? Whatever it is. We are doing we are analyzing the data. You have to be analytical to understand it, to even understand how to position this the way it makes sense to you, right? So that's what they are telling you to do here. And you have to be able to design a compelling report so that you can address that, go for the status report and be able to say to the upper management. Customer and relationship focus, process driven, matrix focus, result oriented, organized, self-directed. They don't tell you what to do. I always tell you, as a Scrum Master or project manager, nobody is going to tell you what to do, but they are expecting a lot to tell you. Say, this is the project for you. You go and figure out what to do, how to do it. Okay, they will say, okay, this is not working, this is not working. It's your opportunity to fill the gap. They don't tell you how you will do it. They can tell you that we did it this way, it wasn't working. So we are expecting you to do it differently. Hopefully it will work. And ability to multitask and solve problems. That's it. So this is one job. I want to pause before we start another one. Any question?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was listening.
Good evening. How are you? I cannot have veteran in the class and I'm be talking by myself. I have Jermaine, I have Roslyn, I have Judy Kael. They're all veteran. Please say something here.
What can I say? In regards to the interview, the project manager interview, I had this interview with Multiplan. It's a company. They do it's a healthcare company. They're mostly specialists in healthcare account like claim processes, claim workflow processes. So it was an agile project manager position, a senior agile project manager position. And let me tell you, it was a tough interview. I had like 4 interviews. I had the first interview like with my first interview. I thought it was just something like screening. But the first interview it was with the big boss. He's business analyst, project manager, scrum master, product owner. I'm like, oh my god, I'm finished. This man, he has like 30 years of experience. That was my first interview. Imagine me. So I was like, oh, because they sent me the link aid, this man link aid before prior to the interview. So I went to his link aid. I looked at his background. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, okay, let me. Okay, I think I can do it. So I went over my business case. I think that's when I even mastered my business case because I was like, I need to give the best of myself in this. I have to get it because it's in healthcare. It's my field. I have all my background is in the healthcare field. So I was like, I think I can do it. So I went through the interview. They asked me questions. I answered the questions. And in regards to project manager, like you mentioned, Miss Georgette, sometimes they say senior project manager, 10 years, 15 years. Guys, do not be scared of. Don't even look at that. Like Miss Georgette said, sometimes they just want to see certified Scrum Master. I am not a PMP. I don't know. I've never done project manager before, but I was so confident with the knowledge that I've gotten with the visual training with Miss Georgette. I was like, I can do this. So, guys, after that first interview, like few minutes after, they call me. They say we're gonna schedule you for the second interview. I went for the second interview. So I went for the yeah, that was the second interview because I had a screening. I'm counting 4 interviews because I had a screening prior to talking to this man that I just mentioned. So now we're going to the third interview. So the third interview was like people in this company in general, they have like 16, 20. I think the list there is 17 years, 15 years experience. Everybody's been there for years. So you can imagine everybody knows what they're doing. So on my first interview, the man told me, the person you are going to replace, I'm very interested in your background and in you. I think the person you are replacing, because after the interview, I asked him, what is this a new position or I'm replacing somebody? He said, yes, this is you are replacing somebody who retired. She's been with the company for like 30 years. I was like, okay. So I finished with him. Right after the interview, they called me. They said they're going to schedule me with another higher rank person in that company. She is another lady. She has a healthcare background. She knows about healthcare processing, claim processing, and all that. So I went for the interview. It was a lady and this other guy. And guys, during interviews, you have to mentally be prepared. It's just a clue I'm giving you. Always be ready to meet somebody during your interview who will not even like right now is video. They will not even like your voice or your face. Like this guy with it was too late. This interview with the lady who has a lot of experience, like I mentioned, and this other guy. This guy was just bumping on me like he knew me somewhere else. He was just waiting for me to just knock me out. He was bombarding me with some weird questions. Just like somebody just mentioned that they asked them about MMR. MMR is just a machine that they use usually for heart rate and all that. He was asking me questions out of the blue, like nothing to do with agile. He would ask me some questions, some weird questions. But you know what? I was like, okay, I have to keep be like self-contained and keep just being polite and trying to answer the question. He was asking, he was asking me some questions. The lady that was the maid, that was her boss, that was his boss. She was like, okay, I think that's enough now. I think I'm going to ask questions too now, just to tell you. So after that interview, I went to the fourth interview. The fourth interview now, it was two guys, Indian guys. These are some other people that I just don't have luck with them. I went to the interview, they asked me questions. And and there's something, guys, these interview questions that Miss Georgette sent you on YouTube, do not take it for, do not take it lightly. Do you imagine that most of the question one of this guy and one of the interviewer was asking me, he took it from this Indian website for that Miss Georgette sent to us on YouTube. It was like question and Scrum Master's question. I'm telling you, word to word, he took the questions from there. So when he asked me this question, I knocked them out. I knocked all the questions out. But you know what, guys? They didn't take me for this position. You know why? Because they told me, they sent me a letter from the company. They say, we didn't take you not because you didn't do well. We did very well, but it was somebody who had more experience. I was so knocked. I was just broken because I was looking I was so hopeful about this position. I was so confident. They didn't take me, but it just put my confidence level to the highest level. Why? Because I know now I'm knowledgeable. If I'm able to go and convince these people with 15, 20, 30 years experience that I can do it, coming from somebody coming from where I've never done Scrum Master before. I am telling you this because I know you guys can do it. Just look at. I'm giving you all these details because it matters. Somebody may be in my shoes one day, or may have been in my shoes one day. I've not been. They have not taken me for the position because they said the other candidate had more experience. But you know what? It boosts me up more. I know I can do it. And like Miss Georgette said, project manager is just it's just a word because project manager, like Miss Georgette said, they focus on budget. Scrum Master does not focus on budget. Scrum Master is focused more on the team side. The project manager is the whole. It's bigger. It's a bigger picture. But we can do it. We can do it. Let's just keep working hard, pushing it. Every single thing that Miss Georgette is telling you, whether it's on the website, whether it's during your class, take time to look into it because has been be, that's what is been helping me all this while, whether it's at work, whether it's on my interviews. That's the only intervention I wanted to make, and I hope it's gonna be helpful to one of you guys one day. And I just wish everybody the best.
What a story. Thank you so much, Mrs. Germain. Ms. Germain, she is from promotion, maybe July promotion. She's been working. Oh, it's not like she's not jobless. Okay. She's working, but she wants to improve herself. Like I always tell you, you don't want to settle for less. Okay. It's not because you got the first job that you will stay on that first job forever. Why don't you upgrade yourself? That's what she's doing. So I'm so proud of her, and and this is my experience, guy. Up to now, every day I go through an interview. You know what? Because I want to better myself. And some of those guys, because I want to learn their psychology, I want to understand what's happening. I have gone through more than 100 interviews. And what I know is that, and most that will give me the offer, I will not take it, but I want to go through that so that I can bring that experience to you. One of the things that I can tell you is that they might not hire, not every company will hire you. You are not meant for every company. They don't deserve you. Oh, you have to see it this way. The company who need you, the company that need you, the company that deserve you will go after you. And you will feel that it's just going to be right. So you don't even feel any, you won't feel any stress. You won't feel any pressure when it's your company. But you have to master that skill. Okay. And I went through that experience. I remember last year, I went through that year, a small year company talking about data, some type of data. I went through 5 different roles of interview. Every day they will ask me, go do this project. I will do and come and deliver. Then they will bring me with another person. That company was owned by maybe an Indian guy. At the end, they didn't select me. They said that they move on with another person. And that would have been a loss if they have selected me, because after that, the company that took me was like 1,000 times bigger. The salary was way higher, and the job was more prestigious. So what I'm trying to tell you is that every single interview is just an experience. It's getting you closer to your dream work. It's getting you closer to your company. Never get frustrated because they turn you down. It's not because you don't know. I don't remember the last time those guys asked me a question I couldn't answer. So sometimes it's not just about the knowledge. There are many things that come into place when it comes to interview. But if you have the knowledge, I can guarantee you, you will never, never regret it. Thank you so much for the testimony. I see Roslyn online. Roslyn, I know you were trying to talk, or I don't know your microphone. I don't even see your microphone, so you might not be able to. Your microphone is completely off. You have to connect yourself. I don't know if you are hearing me.
I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. We can hear you.
Yeah. I don't know, but I've been connected and I haven't said anything. So I don't know why you guys keep on saying that I say something.
Because you are the star, and
was
I want to
just
ask you, how is the first week at work? How do you feel? Do you feel pressure? Do you feel scared? How does that feel?
To be honest, I don't have any feeling right now. I don't have any feeling because I haven't done nothing. It's just like a process where you have to do paperwork and then they're trying to show you a little bit it's only even today that they was able to even tell me that, oh, I will be handling 2 teams, and then where I will be playing the Scrum Master role. So, and we had a meeting. So they say this week, starting tomorrow and Friday, I'm gonna be with the Scrum Master, just shadow the person. And then next week I will take over my two teams. So other than that, they have not really, asked me question, or it's just like they just want they introduce you to the environment. That's all. Whatever they can make you meet, they connect you with the person, and that's it. So today they was able at least to give me what I would say my task, because I'm gonna be with 2 teams, and I'm taking over somebody. It's not like the person is leaving the company, the person is there, but I think she had too much in her basket, and they just want to, reduce some of the tasks so that she can be able to do other things. So she have to give up 2 of her team to me. So that's all. Other than that, I'm waiting. Tomorrow will be really my real maybe on task, like practical connection, because tomorrow I will have to connect with people from India. That's what they told me, people from India. So and then I will just be there to just shadow them and see how they work. That's it. Then next week is the week that actually I'm gonna take over my team, and by myself.
Yeah,
That's
try to meet them before next week. Try to meet most of them in one-on-one. It's just 15-minute meeting. You don't need much because those developers are busy. So try
Yeah.
to meet the key people, right? Because you cannot meet all of them in 2 days. The key people in one-on-one. The PO is the first one, of course, but the key developers that that okay, they are important. Learn from that Scrum Master and try to meet those guys so that you build that relationship before you take the lead for the team. And when you meet them, ask them what is their what are they struggling for? What can you help them to better their process? You are there to listen to them and to really support them, and it's all about teamwork. You are not there to impose anything to them. So they want to feel that they can trust you, that you are welcome, because sometimes they don't like Scrum Master because they feel like these people are micromanaging, and that is also a little bit right, because somebody been working for like 20 years somewhere, and now you come, now you have to tell you every day what they are working on, what they have worked on yesterday, what they are working on today, and if they have any issue. They have not done that before, especially when they are not exposed to such environment. They can have some pushback. Yeah, so thank you. That was helpful. Okay, so let's finish our last exercise um, on the interview, because this is key for most of you going to the interview this week. All right, so we finished this one. Now this is senior enterprise project manager. Okay, this is for a banking.
I have one question. What's the difference between a project manager and a product manager?
Yeah, the difference is the product manager is focusing on the product. It's more technical. The product manager is all about product, right? Like product development. They have to understand the in and out of the product, or they are the one working with the customer very closely. Okay, they are the one mirroring the customer need. But the project manager is the one handling the whole pieces, put everything together for that to work. He worked with the product manager to understand the vision of the product. He worked with the team to make that product work. He work with the budget so that he can put the resource to the team that is going to be building the product. But the team will be hearing from the product manager who understand the need of the product and the vision of the customer. But the project manager is there to oversee all that. Does that make sense? Not just he oversee all that, he also report to the leadership to tell them that, hey, this is where we are. This is where we are going. Okay, so the project manager is oversee the entire things. The product manager is part of the project. A project manager can have multiple product manager. It depends of the nature of the product, right? Some company have each project have one product manager. Some company have multiple product manager working on one product. And the project manager now is overseeing the entire thing, something like that. It doesn't mean that somebody is boss of somebody. Nobody is. It's just like the way the structure. Sometimes you don't even report to the project manager. You report to your own. In the matrix organization, you report to your own management, but yet you meet at the middle to work together. Okay, so this, I don't like the way it is, but let's try it. It's just, you just copy it somehow. I want to cut down something here. Responsibility for this. Perform all responsibility in accordance to this is the company competency, compliant, regulatory, and information protection requirement. This is the key, guys. You see, this phrase is the key. You know why? Because you want to build a product, yes, but you must be compliant. That product must be compliant. That means the security must be to the point. Everything that comes about law. When we talk about compliance, let me take an example. This is a banking, this is a credit union, right? So let's say, for instance, the customer information. If you are building a software where the customer information are not secure, you know why he will call that company? He can call them billions of dollars. He called them to lose their reputation. So you as a project manager, you want to make sure that the team followed up with the governance, compliance, everything related to all that. Any law that is governing the software development, whether it's HIPAA law or anti-money laundering law or whatever law, you want to make sure that you follow that. That's what they are saying here. Ensure appropriate project governance in place. All this is speaking the same language. When you see governance, here is law, the law that govern that project, the law that they have in place. Because even for you to launch a product, let me take you an example. On my previous organization, I was supporting a product, let's say a project, but it's rather really a product. We were developing an application, like an add-on application to have the customer on the car maintenance, that reminding them, do the callback. If there's time for them to change their car, we tell them, okay, you can go and change the oil. You want to change and get a new car, we give you the discount. They automatically check their credit, things like that. But now we want to choose a name for that application. First, they chose another name. They realized that Chase Bank already have the name. Then they chose another, because when you choose a name, you cannot just come up with a name. You will select a name, send it to the compliance department. The compliance department will check to see if nobody else is using that name. Then send it to the marketing department. The marketing department will check to see if that can be sellable. It's a lot of things going on, guys, when it comes to those work. So you are developing the software, and before you publish the code, you want to make sure that vulnerability is not going to kick in right away. You want to be compliant on that. So it's a lot of things going on. So you want to make sure that is on check. Lead the project team in the successful planning, execution, implementation of the project from the initiation to the closure, right? Who can remind me the 5 process group when it comes to project management? What are the 5 process groups?
We have the initiation,
Yes.
the planning,
Yes.
we have the control,
Good.
control and something, and we have the closing.
Very good. Who can help? She just missed one.
Yeah, there's something missing.
Who can help?
Execution.
Execution. Very good. So that is the basic, guys. And I have been singing that here. If you don't know the 5 process group, how are you going to defend yourself as a project manager? First, you have to have initiation. That means making sure that you gather the requirement, making sure that you understand the customer need, making sure that the scope is clarified. When they talk about scope here is if you are doing the website, you want to communicate with the customer to know that, okay, he's going to be 5 pages of website. And in that website, we will do the login, we will do this, the data is going to flow like that. This is to understand the scope. What are they doing that? Who are they doing that for? You want to understand who are going to be the end user. What are they even doing that in the first place? Are they trying to sell something? And what is the speed of selling? What is the condition in terms of processing payment in the website? You agree on that before you even give him the cost. That is initiating. When you initiate, you put that down, you create a project charter, then you kick up the project. Then you have to do the planning now. Now you have the scope. How are you going to plan for the resources? How many people are you going to hire for that? What kind of technology are you going to use? You want to plan for the risk. What kind of risk do you have? You want to plan for the cost, for the budget, right? You want to even plan for the time, the schedule. How long is it going to take? Where do we start? Do we have an MVP, which is a minimum viable product? When you finish the planning, what do you have next? Execution. That's why maybe you do, if you are in the agile, and I always suggest to you, say that you use agile or the execution. That means you're breaking that into sprint. And then you have 2-week sprint, you deliver all those things, you break it down into epic. From the epic, you break it down into story. The story now, the team will take the story and work on the story on the 2-week schedule where they deliver increment. And then the increment is tested, and when the increment is tested now, is released to the end user, and gradually like that until the project is over. You see that monitor and controlling and execution work at the same time. Every sprint, you do monitor, you actually do everything. You do planning, you do monitor and control, you do closing every sprint. And so we're doing it once like a waterfall. You do it every single 2 weeks. You do planning, execution, monitor and controlling, close. Planning, execution, monitor and controlling, close. Please, you remember this as your last name because it comes whether it's project management or Scrum. Develop work plan for highly complex and specialized technology project, feature and business initiative. Okay, so this is just the same thing. So maybe the project can come into you as a feature or as an initiative, depending on how they structure it. Follow the prescribed project management methodology on all projects. That's why I talk about the 5 process group. And we have 10 knowledge area. I'll send it out there. Please look into it. Follow the software and system delivery life cycle on technology project. You want to know the software development life cycle. You know, we do the planning, the design, the coding, the testing, deployment, monitoring, and come back again planning. All that is in the book, in your course. Please read that. Ensure all project artifacts are sufficiently documented and conform to audit requirement. When they talk about product artifact, it could be the release note that you want to put on the project. It could be the project documentation. So whenever they finish a piece of an increment, they want to write on that and say, this is what we have done. This is the code that we use. This is the language that we use. This is the component that we use. This is how it works. It has to be part of your deliverable, right? That's what they are trying to say. Now, manage project financials, including creation of a budget and forecast, right? I already show you the budget, the reconciliation of actual again forecast, and review and approve of the project invoice. Create and manage resource plan for project. This is just, you want to do the planning. Like when it comes to human resources, how do you plan it? When you come to tools, how do you plan it? So you have to do that planning. Provide input to and or review vendor statement of work, contract, and manage the activities of external to this company, partner, and resource to that may be working on assigned project. Actually, this happened at the beginning, right? You have to agree on this statement of work. They have to tell you what they want to do. You have to put it down in order for you to follow through that. That is an agreement that you sign between you and the vendor or the client. Remove impediment, clear the path for the team to work. Absolutely, you have to make sure that you clarify whatever it is. Like I was telling you that somebody need a licensing, you have to give them. Somebody need access to the server, you have to make sure that they have access to the server. Somebody is sick, you want to make sure that you have access, that either the team is okay or you want to maybe replace them if they are taking a long break. A lot of things can happen. Collaborate, communicate, and manage dependency with other teams. This is very important. Like if you are doing a project and that project depends to another project to be able to get something, to be able to complete their project, then you have to make sure that you communicate with that team so that they give you whatever you need to be able to complete your own project. Manage risk and issue throughout project life cycle. How do you manage risk? I always like to use the ROM formula, which is what you can resolve the risk. You can accept the risk. You know that the risk exists, but you accept it maybe by filing an exception. You can own the risk. That means you know that the risk exists, and then you look for an owner that will own that risk and follow through that risk maybe later date. Or you can mitigate the risk, right? That is ROM criteria. And this is the word. So how do you do it? You say you use the ROM formula. Okay, you have it in the course. Now let's go back here. Where am I now? Communicate, collaborate. Okay, ensure that executive sponsors, project sponsors, stakeholder, and team member receive consistent and timely communication regarding the project status. I told you to keep them in check. I even put it on the calendar, right? Continuously improve process delivery throughout the life cycle. Make sure that your team, deliver. You have to improve. You want to create process. It could be something to save time. It could be something to save budget. Maybe you want to make sure that they track the work accordingly. So always check to see if you can do something to help them out. Where am I now? Facilitate project onboarding for new member. You can, for instance, create a documentation for onboarding so that when the new member come in, they just get that documentation and it take them less time. Create a positive and collaborative work environment for the team. Continue improvement of enterprise PMO process. This is what project management office, okay? You want to participate also on the work there, because project management office is just a collection of people or project manager, centralized project manager type of things. It's like a body of project manager in that organization. So you want to also contribute. Perform additional duty as assigned. So qualification, right? For the qualification here, you have to have a bachelor's degree with emphasis in business computer. Always don't worry about this one. Advanced degree prefer 7 years of experience require leading project and serving in the project management type of role. You see, it's the standard role, 10-year prefer, blah, blah, blah. Those are nonsense. Experience must include management of enterprise-wide project. Project management certification, PMP, or relevant education from the organization such as Project Management Institute or University prefer. Ability to creatively resolve solve problem and remove obstacle from project path require. This is just excellent communication, leadership, negotiation, project management skill is required. Excellent conceptual organization, analytical and problem solving, ability to plan, organize, schedule, and implement multiple technical and business related projects require full hour require with additional hour as necessary addition note outside the job description. Strong agile Scrum Master skill. You see, this day, everybody has to have this skill. Strong agile Scrum Master skill, building a job family, blah, blah, blah. This is the company. Scrums of Scrum, what are they saying here? Scrum Master certified is a huge plus. Do you see this? You see that small certification that you are taking? It's a huge plus. Having worked alongside a product owner is key. Product focus capability, focusing on having a roadmap for feature set, all that is really having experience monitoring order on Agile or Scrum. You see that when you say, for instance, that you've been a Scrum Master before, it already count for them. Onboarding new product owners, Scrum practices, and Agile practices in general. Kanban experience will be a plus. You guys have it. No budget type of work in this role, so that is very good. Concrete risk management practices, or reimagine how they work, opportunity to take ownership, link it, blah, blah, blah. Having worked with Scrum team that were delivering, this is platform as service, okay? Platform as service. You have things like platform as service, infrastructure as service, software as service. All of them are just saying a platform as service could be like, right now we are using Team and we are paying some fees to use Team. That is what software as a service. You see, and then if we were doing maybe some kind of infrastructure, leveraging some kind of infrastructure and paying for that, they call it platform as a service. So you just have to get an example of that online. Automation type of pipeline like CI/CD pipeline, you can do that. This person will be supporting one team makeup of the team system engineer, developer, BA, and I don't know who is this. So that's it. You see that all this work turn around, they kind of have the same core description. So if you have your story and you can keep saying the story and just change it a little bit to adapt the work, you'll be fine. All right. Any question? So are you going to go out there and kill project management? Because I know many people always run away from project management. That is a senior level. You think that is so hard. It's really not. Of course, you will learn. I'm not saying that it's going to be easy too. But if you are willing to learn, you can do it. So that's it then. If we don't have any question, people decide to be very quiet today. Bettany, any question?
Thank you very much. Very insightful today.
Hey, Mama Germaine, thank you.
Thank you. That was awesome. That was awesome. Amazing. Yes, Scrum project management is technical, but it's definitely a skill that everyone want to have because I mean, it's just so versatile and you can use it in any domain. So thank you. That was really helpful.
No problem, girl.